Alright, so welcome to how to use the magic milk. And the magic milk is found in the utility section and is the milk bucket icon. It costs 4 gold in all game modes, and its lore is avoid triggering traps for 30 seconds after consuming. This item pairs especially well with potions and tools. If you're going for an enemy team's bed and you want to be as prepared as possible, then what you can do is drink the magic milk just before you get to their base to avoid triggering any traps. I advise using this with invisibility potions, however, so it's much more difficult for the enemy team to track you while you break their bed. Remember that the effect of the magic milk wears off after 30 seconds, so be sure to break the bed as fast as you can to make the most of that time. If you're in the middle of an encounter at or near your base, then what you can potentially do to scare them off or make them panic is to begin drinking the magic milk behind cover to make your opponents think that you might be drinking a potion. The iconic drinking noise is enough to make any well-established Bedwars player at least a little nervous, so you can use the time that they spend panicking to your advantage. I'll use this time to either wait for my teammate to respawn or just run to the fray and hopefully beat my attackers when they're not in the right state of mind. This will hopefully give you a better chance to beat your attackers, but I wouldn't count on it as your go-to strategy. If your opponent is a super skilled or super aggressive player, they might just go for you anyways and not even stop to think about the potions that much, so keep that in mind when you decide to use this tactic. If you really need to escape a situation that you're in and you have a magic milk, then what you could potentially do is hide and bluff potions by drinking the magic milk. This can potentially stop your opponent from advancing onto you because they think that you might be invisible. And if you pair this with other distractions like a golem, bedbug, or a fireball, then you can really fool your opponents into thinking that you ran off to some other part of the map. Maybe even make them consider avoiding to protect their bed if they have one. Of course, keep in mind that this isn't foolproof and your opponents could just attack you anyways. So if you do have actual potions on you, I would use those instead, since it's the safer option 99% of the time. This item works well in all game modes. In most cases, buying a magic milk is kind of redundant. Offensively, you could just have a teammate go in first to tank a trap and distract for you instead, which already makes buying a magic milk kinda useless unless the opposing team has multiple traps bought at once, which is usually not the case. You could argue that it has a place for offensive pushes in solo mode since there's no teammate there to tank a trap for you, but most players don't even bother buying a trap there since the bed defenses are usually not very strong like in the other game modes. Voting to save your own bed in solo is very rare unless you have a obsidian bed defense or a bed defense of substantial size, in which case there's almost always a trap there. I would only really ever use milk if my opponent's bed defense has a full layer of obsidian protecting it, because then I would use potions or pop-up towers to pair with it. Defensively and evasively, this item is a bit more useful for bluffing since you just need to make the noise to scare your opponent, and you don't need to drink the milk all the way. But it does nothing if your opponent is not intimidated by the noise. I really only use the magic milk for these circumstances if I was seriously desperate for something to save me, since the effects of the bluff isn't very consistent with every opponent. Overall, this item is at its best when it's used in conjunction with potions to get a bed that was otherwise difficult to break without it. It's the item's main niche after all, so it's only fitting that it's really consistent when it's used as intended. The bluffing strategies are cool and all, but they won't be consistent with every opponent that you come across, since the strategy relies on opponents being intimidated or distracted for it to work. I would at least try the bluff strategies out once just to see the reactions, because it's kind of funny to see people panic from their PTSD of potions. Alright, so that's it for how to use the magic milk, and the next how to use video will be on the ender pearl, finishing off the utility section once and for all. If you guys enjoyed the video, please subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Alright, that's it for me. Don't stop gaming, guys. Peace out.